The ending of that one was not what we wanted to see. Not at all, but some decent takeaways from this game. The New Jersey Devils go into Philadelphia and fall by a score of 4-3 via the shootout. Welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And we pretty much had an AHL squad beat by an NHL squad. I mean, it is what it is. They were in the game, had chances to win, blew a couple leads. We get to the scoring. Rooney starts it off in the first period off a beautiful play from Ethan Edwards, just throwing it towards the net. Rooney gets the tip in, gives the Devils a 1-0 lead, and then a couple minutes later, they gave it back. Unfortunately, Sanheim scores for the Flyers 1-1 after one. We go to the second, and on the power play, my man Shane Lachance. Love me some Shane Lachance. He was on the PK as well in this game. Did a great job on the PK along with Rooney. But Lachance makes a beautiful feed to Lenny Haminaho in front. He scores, giving the Devils the 2-1 lead. Beautiful heads-up play by two of the prospects. Lachance to Lenny, you love to see it. Obviously, you guys know I like Lachance a lot. I think he could potentially bring a lot to this New Jersey Devils roster. Devils lead 2-1, and then Flyers on the power play. Konechny ties it up at 2. That's how the second period ends, and we go to the third, and the Devils once again reclaim the lead. We see the Grits and Paulie Cotter connection once again. Grits grabs the puck behind the net, feeds Paulie in front. He rips it home, gives the Devils a 3-2 lead. And that was short-lived, unfortunately. Late in the game, Devils can't close it out. Konechny strikes again. And all tied up at 3. We go to overtime. By the way, I think someone pointed out in the chat, Jake Allen, very solid throughout, made a ton of saves. I think this game could have potentially been ugly with another goalie in there. But Jake Allen doing his thing. We go to the shootout, and Jake Allen starts off well with the save. Gritsyuk gets stopped. Then Zegras comes in. I hate the super slow approaches, by the way. When the guys come in like crawling, he picked it up towards the end, but he was like crawling past the Devils bench. I don't know. I don't really like that sort of thing. But Zegras gives the Flyers the lead in the shootout. Paulie Cotter loses the handle on his attempt, and the puck just kind of slides into the goalie, and then Konechny ends it, and that's it. That's all she wrote. We lose in the skills competition. It is what it is. I'm sure Paulie would like that back. He just lost the handle of it. It happens sometimes. Game stats, Devils 25 shots on goal, Flyers with 36. A lot of rubber for Jake Allen tonight. A lot of those were high-danger chances that he stopped. Devils have the advantage in the face-off circle, 55.4% to 44.6% for the Flyers. Both teams go 1 for 3 on the power play. Devils lay in the wood with 38 hits, doubling up to Flyers 19. Devils 5 block shots, Flyers 13 block shots. Devils 13 giveaways, Flyers 15 giveaways, and a takeaway for each. And we look at some of the player stats. I thought Rooney had a pretty good game. He had the goal. He had a great kind of possession on a penalty kill late where he skated the puck in and was just chewing up time as the penalty was close to expiring. Goal for him, 3 shots, 4 hits. It's a great stat line for Rooney. Lenny Haminaho with his goal. Nathan Legare. What a stat line for this guy. 3 shots and 9 hits. I believe a game high 9 hits. Wow. 9 hits is a ton. Hardman with a block and 3 hits. Gruden with 5 hits. Paulie Cotter with a goal, 3 shots. No hits for Paulie Cotter. Very, very unusual. Very, very unusual. And Gritsyuk with an assist on 3 shots. 3 hits for Diot. 2 hits for Ethan Edwards. And, the preseason's over, guys. That's it. Now the games start to count for real. We're going to see the real roster in Raleigh. But overall, I thought a pretty good game. Some good takeaways. Lachance, Haminaho, Cotter, Gritsyuk, Jake Allen, obviously, super sharp in net. We had a far inferior lineup and we lost to an NHL team. I mean, it is what it is. The preseason doesn't count. But it's over now, guys. That's it. The next time we are here for a post-game live, it will be after game 1 of the regular season, and I am super fired up. Obviously, the injury bug has already crept into this team. Unfortunately, waiting to get some news on Pesce, waiting to see who's going to step in his place in the lineup. I think Edwards has a decent chance. Maybe it will be Chalowski. I mean, who knows at this juncture, but Pesce's a big loss. Big loss to the blue line. Let's see what you guys are talking about here today. I also hate streaming online. The not being on TV is super annoying. I'm far back in the chat. Let me get... Brennan Play says, I can't be mad considering we literally almost won with our AHL lineup versus our NHL lineup. Jake was really good today. Yeah, 100%. I said before, without Jake Allen in there, the game could have potentially been ugly, but he stood on his head, made a bunch of big saves, gave the Devils a chance to win, and unfortunately they blew it with a couple minutes left, but, you know, it happens. Preseason's over, kids. Husky, Unchained, Cotter, and Grits. Love that duo. Talked about them a lot in the past week. I do think it could be one of the better duos in the bottom 6 across the league. I do think they both legitimately have top 6 skill, and having them as a third or fourth line, I think is going to give teams matchup problems. And I think these guys are going to scorch teams all year for as long as they're together. Obviously, Gritsyuk may very well end up in the top 6, but I do like the balanced attack that they give us in the bottom 6. And if Pally and Brown could do the same thing, that could be a very much improved bottom 6 from last year. The bar's on the floor, obviously. The bottom 6 did nothing last year, but this could be a pretty damn good bottom 6. Brendan says they have the best shootout tools in the league. Yeah, it's a nice lineup. Safe and Effective says Cotter should be this generation's Claude Lemieux. I could see it. I mean, with all due respect to Paulie, I think that's, you know, kind of a lofty aspiration, but like a Diet Coke version, maybe. I mean, Claude Lemieux is just such a consummate winner, and what a bull. Safe and Effective, annoying to play against and annoying as a fan, but if he's on your team, you love him. Yeah. I've said for a while that Brad Marchand kind of reminds me of him. Big playoff performer, absolute pest. You hate when you're playing him. You would love to have him on your team. And maybe Paulie could develop into one of those types of players. Traveling Devil says Cotter has to win a lot before you can mention him in the same sentence as Claude. I understood what Safe and Effective meant, though. I don't think he meant in terms of accomplishments or achievements, but just in the type of player. Yo Holmes jumps on and says, bro, Claude has 4 cups, kids. Robbie's Bench Boss, the fourth liners and Utica comments had a good effort on the road today. Completely agree. Brendan plays C- result, but A+ effort, and considering the lineups, that's all I really wanted to see today. I mean, yeah, that's all you could hope for in a game like this. We were clearly outgunned, and if it wasn't for Jake Allen, we probably would have got stomped. But Safe and Effective, I know, but I'm just talking about the archetype. This team needs grit and skill and someone to annoy the other team. I agree with you there, Safe and Effective. I do think Cotter could be that type of guy. Tasha says you just described Timo Meier. And I've said Timo kind of reminds me of him as well. And it is funny, Timo Meier's agent is Claude Lemieux. Would like to see Timo score a little bit more in the regular season maybe than Claude did, but I understand the sentiment. Robbie's Bench Boss, Allen had some nice stops. Absolutely. Michael, expecting big things out of this year's supporting cast. Yeah, that bottom 6 is going to be much better. Much, much better, and it's impossible not to be. But I think, forget even how bad last year's bottom 6 was. It could be a, maybe league-wide kind of middle-of-the-road bottom 6, which I think we would take. If we had a middle-of-the-road performing bottom 6 with the top guns, in the top third or so of the league, could be an interesting season. And especially with the goaltending tandem and defense that we have, I do think this team will win some 2-1, 3-2 games this year. Derek says, we played our Utica comments in our fourth line against the Flyers full squad. Yeah, pretty much. What's going on, Justin? Tasha says Allen really locked in. He definitely was. Seabones, I think the guys that needed to look good did look good today. Yeah, the guys that are kind of on the cusp of probably, realistically a call-up due to injury. But we have a lot of guys that are kind of right there, I think. And LaChance, you guys know how I feel about LaChance. And he just continues to show up every single game. Every game in the Prospects Challenge, the preseason, he's doing something impressive every single game. I saw him back in July at development camp. He scored a goal, just for those keeping track. Basically for LaChance, Hami Naho, and some other guys, the kind of progression of their offseason leading into this training camp was they had development camp at the Rock in July, and in the last day on the scrimmage, LaChance scored the only goal for his team in that game. So that's development camp. LaChance scores in the development camp scrimmage. Then we get to preseason. He scores. He's injured for all of it until last game. He scores that beautiful goal, or 2 games ago, whenever it was, when he reached around the goalie in front of the net and batted one in. Scores there, and then he had the big assist today, and he's an absolute menace. Smashing guys, getting involved physically. LaChance is a guy that I am super jacked up for, and I'm hoping he finds his way onto this club sooner than later, because I do think his overall skill set, the type of player he is, the size, no one else has it. And I would love him to force his way onto this team. Save and Effective says Cotter's new hits are the shot after the whistle. Michael Grits made up for that penalty with the assist. Good sign when a player gets one back after that. Good to see Edwards back in there. Love to see him get some time with the big club if Pesci misses time. He's definitely going to be one of the guys in the mix. Will it be him? Will they go with the more veteran guy in Chalowski? Is it possibly someone else? Maybe Villain? We're going to see. Hopefully Pesci's good to go, but not too encouraging when yesterday they said, he's being evaluated and they're not sure what the timetable for return is. What's going on, Devil Heaven Ace? What's happening, brother? Devil Heaven, I didn't get this game. Was it televised? I'll watch highlights on YouTube. No, it was streaming on the Devil's website. It is unfortunate that, we have to deal with this. It is what it is. I hate the streams too. Then I sit in the studio and watch it on my computer. I'd much rather just be on the couch on television. And I could do the whole HDMI thing and all that, but it's just a pain in the ass. So I just watch it on my computer. Tasha says, new profile pic. What do we think? I might switch it again. We'll see. I like the Raise Hell. I liked would you say it was the Bay in New York somewhere? I liked the wave picture as well. Pyro, what's up? What's going on? Michael Cotter, Grits, Pally Brown looking real nice for our bottom 6. Seems like we can roll 4 lines this year, which create problems for teams to defend. Yeah. There's going to be some 4th lines that are going to be like, we are so unfortunate tonight that we're going up against Cotter and Gritsyuk. Very skilled, very fast guys in a bottom 6. Devil Evan, priceless day in upstate New York. Homemade pizza pies on the grill loaded up. Nice. Dubs' like says, let's let Grits cook. Oh, he's cooking. He is cooking, and I want to see him cook even more in the regular season. But so far, so good. Looks as advertised. He created some other scoring chances throughout the game, kind of using his speed and puck handling to cut through the neutral zone. I'm trying to temper expectations, but I do think Gritsyuk is the real deal, guys. Brennan says, call them you, Marchand Bennett. This is there's a breed of players who you hate to play against but love on your team. Johnny K says, McEwen on waivers frees up some cash. Got to wonder if they would do that with McDermott. Fitz might have done him a solid trading him to keep him in the NHL. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how much he plays there. Oh, but speaking of, I forgot, the Devils announced some moves during the game. New Jersey has placed forwards Thomas Bordeleau, Angus Crookshank, the Shank, Brian Hallinan, and Zach McEwen, and defenseman Colton White on waivers with the intention of assigning them to Utica of the AHL. And the club has also sent Dmitry Osipov to Utica. So the roster getting trimmed a little bit more today. Bordeleau, Crookshank, Hallinan, McEwen, Colton White, Osipov, Utica bound. And we continue now. 5 days away. 5 days away from puck drop on the regular season. James says, an AHL team versus an NHL team, we took it to a shootout. Not bad, even though we lost. Yeah, it sucks the way it ended, but it was a good effort. And like someone pointed out earlier, the guys that needed to look good did. Devil having Utica, Syracuse preseason last night. Great to see AHL back at our arena. Tasha says, I watched a clip of Brady talking about the trade and was saying McDermott, he expects to be a big part of the team, so who knows? Interesting. Interesting. Michael says, gotta love we got LaChance for nothing. Safe and effective. Why was he just handed to us? So we got him from Edmonton because we basically retained money on a deal that sent Frederick from Boston to the Oilers, and for playing the banker, if you will, on the transaction, we were able to get LaChance, which, if I'm being perfectly honest, I didn't think anything of it at the time. It seemed like a, minor league kind of move, nothing substantial, but as I began to watch LeChance and pay close attention to the BU games while I was watching Big Mike Yegorov in net, I was like, this LeChance kid we got is a player and has been nothing but impressive since becoming Devils property. It's quite insane. Had a really solid year in college. They unfortunately lost in the national championship game, but he decides to go pro. Like I said, he scored in the scrimmage during development camp, scored a goal in the first preseason game that he played in this year. He just had a big assist in this one this afternoon, and he's a dog. He had a fight. I mean, wow. In the Prospects Challenge, that is. Corey says, what is going on with Nathan Lecomte? Guy looked great in the Prospects tournament. Should at least get a run in Utica. Yeah, so I think they would have to sign him. I haven't heard anything about him. Maybe he's going to slip through our fingers. Let me see. I haven't seen anything about him. I kind of forgot about him from the Prospects Challenge. I don't believe he's signed. Yeah, and his junior season's already started. He's back in juniors. Through the first 6 games, he has a goal and 7 assists for 8 points in 6 games. Back to juniors. Pyro says, sadly missed the game, but loving this Grits and Cott thing firing up. Yeah. What a duo. And they're going to give people problems all year long. Love to see it. Phil says, trade Salayev. He's not looking good in the KHL. I've heard some rumblings about this. I mean, he's only 19 years old, guys. Monster defenseman, lots of potential. I don't think it'd be wise to sell him low at this point unless the team's really high on him and there's a situation that presents itself where we could help the team win now. But Salayev is more of a future piece. Again, hopefully he, continues to develop the season in the KHL and he'll be here eventually. Noel said, didn't they say day-to-day for Pesci? I think they just said that he's being evaluated and they don't really know as of yet if he's going to be available for the opener. Brendan says, positive standouts, overall team effort, Edwards, Cotter, Jake the Snake, LeChance, Grits, Haminaho. The guys wanted to see did well. Love to see it, especially against NHL talent. Yeah. LeChance on special teams, power play and penalty kill. And Paulie Cotter, I think, had a shorthanded chance earlier in the game as well. Khalil Pesci got hurt the last game. Says, who do you see filling the Sheriff void left by McDermott, if not Dylan? It's going to be by committee, but Dylan will definitely be the kind of leader or catalyst of it. And then we have a couple other guys that are, I think, able to get involved in that department should it be necessary. Tasha, Grits has just been improving every game, and it's great to watch. That assist was great. The NHL level instincts are kicking in. Yeah, he's got wheels. He's got hands. He has an amazing shot. I mean, Salayev can have a really big year here. Phil says, trade Palat and Salayev plus the first for a top 6 winger. I mean, I suppose that's in the realm of could be in the realm of reality, depending on who it is. Robbie's bench ball says, when Gritsyuk plays with Jack Hughes, can we call that combo shrimp and grits, please? I think, did you say this the last game? Someone said something very similar. What's going on, Rob? Hey, Ace, is it October 9th yet? Not yet, just the 4th. 5 days away. Tasha says, I think the Jack Brat and Grits line should be called the breakfast line. Justin, McDermott can carry the water bottles for the... Oh, come on. You guys are brutal. Phil, if Grits plays with Palat, call it grits and potatoes. James, you think LeChance will crack the lineup this season? I do think we will see him at some point due to injury. I don't think he's going to start on the big club. There's really no spots available unless, again, on the wing, for a spot on the wing to open up. Oh, actually, no, I keep forgetting that Nason's still out. Yeah, no, it's going to take an injury or two for LeChance to get in the regular season. But as we all know, the probability of someone getting injured is pretty high over the course of the season. So I do think we will see LeChance for at least a few games at some point this season, but he's going to start the season in Utica because we finally have some forward depth. It's a nice luxury to have. Last season we saw, kind of desperation trials in the bottom 6, and nobody really did anything. There's always a chance with LeChance. Phil says, I hope we crush Carolina next Thursday. Yeah, returning to where it all ended. Where it all ended over 5 months ago. A brutal end to the season. Blowing a 3-goal lead in an elimination game. And hopefully the boys remember and they come out possessed. Devil Heaven, Ace Howard Mama's Meatballs. I'm making another batch tomorrow. Usually make 75 plus at a time and freeze them. They weren't her best. I mean, they were decent, but they definitely weren't grade A for whatever reason. The Palisade View didn't think much of the chance trade either at the time, but looking like a tidy bit of business by Fitz. Yeah, I mean, so far it seems like this kid's going to be a legitimate NHL player in the near future that we got for basically nothing by brokering a deal and retaining money for a team that was in need of it. David, haven't watched preseason, not my thing. What kids do you think will be given a serious shot at becoming NHL this season aside from Nemo and Gritsyuk? Do you think we sign any of the PTOs? David, you got to watch the preseason, my man. That's where you get the first looks at a lot of these kids. But Nemo and Gritsyuk are a lock on the roster, so those are just givens. But outside of them, my number one is definitely LeChance. If you haven't picked up on that as of yet. I think LeChance will get a shot at some point. If there's multiple injuries, maybe we may see Haminaho, but I think LeChance and Legare would be my two that would probably be the first called up in injuries, in an injury situation, I believe. As far as PTOs, I think Glendening almost has a deal on lock, and I think it would be a big mistake if not. I think Glendening should be the 4C. He's earned it. If we don't sign him, I think someone will. Curious to see if and when that news comes out too. But I think Glendening should be the 4C. And maybe Romanov gets a deal and we send him to Utica. I don't know. The goalie thing is very bizarre to me because I don't really know where we're at with Dawes. It's kind of another big question mark. Safe and effective talking about Salive says, don't be silly. His physical stats make him worth the pick. He's a monster of a human. I saw him in person 2 years ago at development camp, and he is a big, big boy. Pyro says that at least wait for Salive and Utica before doing anything with him. Yeah, he'll be in the AHL. He's definitely not going to jump straight to the NHL from the KHL as a 19 or 20-year-old. You know, defensemen take a little more time to season, and he's super young. He's got to play in the A for a little bit. SST says, when Big Mac squares up with Big Mac, Runnin will be rooting for not our Big Mac. That's what I'm sure of. I don't even know what you're talking about. Are you talking about McDermott as a Senator versus McEwen? I'm always rooting for whoever has the Devil jersey on. Always. Hokage, I'm wondering what they'll be juggling to balance out the cap space. I'd imagine they're going to use the Kovacevic LTIR maneuver to be cap compliant originally, and then they'll have to figure something out as a permanent fix when he's ready to come back. But that seems like it's trending in that direction, that's going to be the temporary fix. Chris says, full AHL team or not, this team can't catch a break with shootouts. I mean, hopefully that will change. Pyro says LeChance, Glass, Haminaho. No, you're not going to see both of them at the same time. And if you do see both of them on the NHL club, that means we've been decimated with injuries, I believe. Army says, what up, Ace? Crank a Red Bull and get those walls dressed. It's coming soon. It's coming very, very soon. I gave myself puck drop for the regular season as the absolute latest point in time, and I'm hoping to get it done ahead of then. But it will be done soon. Phil, I got to go. Family arriving. See you guys Thursday. Let's go Devils. Have a good weekend, Phil. Taj says, apparently Luke is almost 200 pounds. I feel like he didn't weigh that much last season. Maybe he gained a few pounds over the summer. Pico Nisher style. I saw him at that event the other night, and he did seem slightly bigger to me. He did seem a little bit bigger than he has in the past, but maybe I was just wanting that to be true. But Something's messed up here. Bear with me. Yeah, I mean, he definitely seems bigger to me. Jack, not so much, but Luke seemed a little bit bigger. So maybe maybe it is true that he did get a little more solid. But he definitely doesn't seem tiny in person. I lost my spot. Robbie's bench boss. I mentioned on Uncle Puckers when they combined Grits, Hughes, Brat. We'd find it if Grits and PB and J went together. My man Brian, what's going on? Road trip on the 9th. Oh man, their record in Raleigh is so bad over the last decade. I haven't been there yet. It's been on the list for a while, but eventually I'll try to get to a bunch of these arenas. Devil Heaven grew up 86 with Utica, then Albany, Lowell, back to Albany, Binghamton, back to Utica. Yeah, the Devils AHL team has been all over the place. Oh, sorry, Bobby. I missed this. Bobby, thank you, sir. What's up, Ace? Congrats to the Flyers for barely beating the Utica Comets. Also, I really like Villain, but I don't see how he ever makes it with us. Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, an NHL team should beat an AHL team probably 97 out of 100 times. We had a chance to beat them, blew several leads. It is what it is. It sucks, but there is some positive takeaways from this game. And Villain, I don't think he would ever be a regular. I do think with the injuries and stuff, maybe there's something about his game that they give him the upper hand over someone else. But if I had to bet, I would think that with if Pesci cannot go opening night and neither can Seamus Casey, which it doesn't seem like he can, I would imagine we would see Edwards or Chalowski as the replacement in the meantime for however long that may be. Tasha says Glendenning's looked fantastic. Yeah, I think he needs a deal. Tasha says, saw him in person. You taking trips to Russia? No, I meant Lukey boy. Justin says, hit the like button for your boy Ace. Thanks. I knew someone would remember because I'm not. But hit the thumbs up. Don't be stingy. Anson says 88 in the chat, 25 likes. Smash the like, guys. Thanks, Anson. Devil Heaven trivia, Ace and Devs fans. What number did Marty wear in Utica? That would be 1. A lot of wrong answers in here. Everyone going 29. Michael says, week and a half until home opener. Who's joining me at the Rock for some Gen Pop? The Gen Pop shooters is great, Michael. It really does make me laugh. Man, I can't go back. I don't know what SST's talking about. Running in the suit. I don't know what that is. The picture. Yeah. David, thanks for the insight. By the way, I loved Legari during his brief call-up last season. In his first NHL game in MSG, was an utterly bruising, relentless maniac on the board and smashed 6 hits in a 5-1 win. Yeah, I talked about this the other night. I was right. I thought it was a Ranger game, that he was pretty impressive. Sheldon Keefe talked very glowingly about him in the post-game press conference, and then I don't think we saw him again. Maybe he played one more game. Would he play 1 or 2 games last year? Yeah, I thought he deserved a little bit longer of a look than what he got. But for whatever reason, we saw other guys given some opportunity instead. John says, what's with people wanting to put on this? I think they're just making fun of me because I came back from that event that I just showed the picture of where I met Jack and Luke. And I did a live that night, and I had the suit still on. And I don't know. I guess it's like a joke now. I don't know. SST says, Runnin looks as big as Jack almost. I'm definitely a good amount, good chunk bigger than Jack for sure. Pyro says, Ace, I was watching Heaven, and I was wondering, since you're a longer-term fan, is there any non-Devils player or management you recognize from it? What do you mean? That's in it? I don't know what you mean by that. Tell me what you mean by that. Tasha Legari was the best out of the rotating squad of call-ups last season. I thought so too. And again, maybe he gets a more legitimate chance this season if there's injuries. Hopefully there's no injuries, but he's another guy that I think could be an impact energy guy in the bottom six. K-Men Tube says number 1. Oh, that's back to the Marty Utica. Yeah, I said that right away. John Fay, I mean, other than it going to shootout, we played decently well. The only downsides were we couldn't get a 2-goal lead and the game wasn't shown on TV. Yeah, multiple 1-goal leads blown and not on TV. The streaming, I'll take streaming over nothing for sure. I'm not trying to be a complainer, but, TV is the premier way of watching a game. Devil Heaven, sipping Fireball on ice. Oof, chilling, cooking. What's everyone drinking? I am finishing off my Quick Check iced coffee. Big fan. Big fan. Pyro says like non-players management, for example, like fans. Oh, I haven't watched it in a bit, but I'm sure there's fans that I recognize in there from some of like the parking lot montages and things. I'm sure I'd have to watch it in its entirety again. I haven't seen it in a bit, but it is one of the greatest Devils kind of things ever made. And I also highly recommend to anyone who's seen Heaven or not, and Pyro, there's a special on YouTube. You could find it. It's called The Title is Team. And it's a separate documentary-ish thing narrated by Mike Doc Emmerich, the best to ever do it, about that 95 Devils Cup team. And I think The Title is Team might actually be better than Heaven, believe it or not. But highly recommend checking that one out as well. Michael says, Fireball is what I drink at the Rock. Pyro Ace, who's the best Devils goalie you've ever seen in Utica who never made it to the Devils? That's a tough one. I'm trying to think. And I guess, do you mean any minor league goalie or just Utica? Because they were the Utica Devils back when Marty was there. Then they left Utica forever, and then they returned to Utica, I guess, in the past few seasons as the Comets. So I don't know, when you say Utica, do you mean like literally Utica? Okay, so any AHL team? They all made it. Most of them that were notable made it to the Devils, at least for a brief stint. I'm trying to think here. That's a good one. A Devils minor league goalie that never made it to the Devils. I think they all really did. I'm trying to think. Devils minor league goalies. That's a good one. And that one might take me a little bit to think about, because at some point, most of them at least played a preseason game. So I'm not sure if you count that as making it. Amagi, Quick Check iced coffee is the bomb, especially after 3 p.m. for that awesome any size deal. Yeah, I believe after 3 p.m. iced coffee, I don't know about regular, probably all priced the same. I only drink iced coffee, but any coffee after 3 p.m. I believe is $2. And this is like, 40 ounces. Now, obviously, you waste a lot of the space with the ice. So sometimes I just won't even put the ice, and I'll ice it myself later, and I'll get all 40 ounces of iced coffee. But you definitely can't beat the deal. I will also mention that every day, no matter the time, you could get a breakfast sandwich, or if you buy a breakfast sandwich, you get any coffee for $1. So typically, I will get a sausage, egg, and cheese on an English muffin because it is very good, which I believe is $3.99. And then I pay $1 for this monstrous, absolutely monstrous coffee that I can make to my own specifications with their little bar of creamers and milks and all that stuff. And it's $5 plus tax for a sausage, egg, and cheese on an English muffin. And this monster coffee might be the best deal in the state. $5 all in. What a deal. David says he played 2 games after that. Thought the same as you when Legary was sent down. Could just be we had enough wingers, needed to center more. For sure. Devil Heaven, how about baby Devs and Devs both win the cup like 95? I mean, that'd be great. But in the end, if I'm being honest, all I care about is the real Devils winning the cup. And we don't have baby Devils anymore. Technically, they're the Utica Comets. But yeah, it'd be great to win the Stanley Cup and the Calder Cup in the same season, like the Devils did in 95 when they won the Cup, and the Albany River Rats won the Calder Cup in the AHL. Very rare to win both, but I would be ecstatic with the Stanley Cup. I don't need to be greedy and add the AHL championship onto it, but I would take it if it came along. Pyro says title is team. I'll go look for it. Yeah, it's really good. Really, really good. Joseph, I can't donate today, but Lenny and Grits will be in the top 9. Gritsyuk, I could see. Haminaho, I think, is going to have to really do something in the AHL. He's not going to start with the big club, so it would take. But with injuries, anything's possible. John Fay says, Miracle will always be number 1 to me. Then you have the show called Shoresy. I've heard of it and seen little clips. I've been meaning to watch it. I haven't watched it, but a lot of people have told me it's good. Robbie's Bench Boss, iced coffee at home is king, in my opinion. Forget $5 a cup. How much is it at Quick Check? Don't have them in Florida. Yeah, $2 after $2 after 3 p.m., or you could get that breakfast sandwich for $3.99 and add the coffee for $1. For $5 all in for a sausage, egg, and cheese and a monstrous iced coffee in this economy is quite the deal, I believe. Devil Heaven, Doc is king. Doc Emmerich for Prez. Tasha said, I'm not sure if I've ever seen a Quick Check outside of New Jersey. Is that a New Jersey thing? John faces, once you leave New Jersey, it all becomes places you never heard of before. That is true. I constantly see chains in other states that I'm like, that I've kind of heard of before, but have never actually, went to because they don't exist in New Jersey. Tasha says, I agree, though. Iced coffee is far superior to hot. All I drink. SST says, title is team. Definitely not better than heaven. In fact, it is boring. I can never be bored when Doc is on the track. Quick Check only exists in Jersey. Tasha says, coffee ice cream is a top 10 flavor for sure. I'll eat. I mean, listen, if I'm being honest, there's not many ice creams I don't like. But coffee would never be my pick. I would never order it, but like if it's there, I'll certainly eat it. I'm more of like the, vanilla, peanut butter, cookies and cream. Also love green mint chocolate chip. I don't like the white one that they're kind of been shoving down our throats, but the green mint chocolate chip, always childhood nostalgia in that. Yeah, cookies and cream, and then I go crazy with the toppings sometimes. I'll get real crazy. Reese's Pieces, Reese's peanut butter cups, whipped cream, peanut butter sauce, if available, maybe hot fudge as well. It gets wild out there. I had a couple wild times in the summer touring the ice cream places. Michael, I think he played a little with the Devils, but I remember Damphus was supposed to be a good goalie, but never really lived up to it. So JF Damphus was a highly touted guy that we drafted years and years ago, late 90s, which is crazy to think. He was a first rounder, I believe, too. Like the fact that we used a first round pick on a goaltender during the prime Marty Brodeur years is completely crazy to me. But I don't think he ever did play a Devils game now, actually. Did he get into? No, he did get into a preseason. I was there for it. He never started. I don't think he started. He never started a regular season game. Oh, no, he did. Yeah, he played in, 6 games he got into in 01, 02. Yeah, you're talking about 20-something years ago. Wow. So, yeah, they all eventually made it, it seemed like, for at least a little bit. Troy Machine says, Quick Check, pump your gas, too. In New Jersey, it's technically illegal to pump your own gas. Everywhere in New Jersey is a full service, as they call it, full service, where someone comes and pumps it. John Fay says, you would love Shoresy. It's based all around hockey. I know. That's another. There's just too many things to keep track of, guys. I can't. There's just so much between podcasts I like and, podcasts and shows and this and that. It's like content overload from every angle, on every platform, on every device. And there's tons of things that I would like to watch. I guess I have to be a little more deliberate in terms of maybe planning some of these things, but then obviously keeping up with the Devils, talking to you fine folks once in a while. It's all a lot. Yeah, all gas stations pump the gas for you. Devil Heaven says, sell it, Ace, sell it. Robbie, Ace gunning for that Quick Check sponsorship. I can't see that happening, but I go to Quick Check all the time. One of my favorites. Sign up for the rewards program. They have I have too much free publicity for them now, but they do have an app with the rewards program. You get points. I think I mentioned this last night. I'm like an old man now. Like the essentially, digital membership club almost. Michael says, Quick Check, sausage, egg, and cheese are solid. I'd take those any day over Wawa. Tasha says, ew, green mint chip? Come on, the white version is so much better. The green one grosses me out. How dare you? How dare you, Tasha? Green mint chip existed well before the white one did. The white, in fact, is just an imposter. Green mint chip for life. What's going on, Mary Hayes? Quick Check needs to sponsor you, and it's on Long Island as well. Okay. That's good to know. If I'm ever out on the island, that there is a Quick Check probably not too far away. Amagi probably will get taken out back and shot for this, but cookies and cream is crazy overrated. Rather just have regular vanilla with cookie crumbles in it. And then he says, yes, it's different. It's not. Well, what is the difference? I'm sorry. I have to disagree with this one. While I also would enjoy vanilla with cookies crumbled in it, I like it kind of mashed into the original mixture and get the, the little speckles of smashed up Oreo or whatever Oreo imposter they're using. I think cookies and cream is saying it's overrated is wild. Parts I love the fish food one. That's Ben and Jerry's. John Fay. My go-to will always be plain vanilla. Traveling. Vanilla chocolate chip has been around forever. It has? When I was a kid, I only remember it being green. Pyro. Mixing ice cream with Nutella and peanut butter, but only at 2 a.m. on a rainy night. It's elite. I love Nutella and I love peanut butter. And I've committed crimes in my kitchen at 2 a.m. as well, Pyro, with just grotesque ice cream sundaes that should be illegal in at least 47 states, where I have taken, I don't even want to admit this, but I've taken like the candy bars, like Kit Kats and all those things, and I have meticulously smashed them up with a spoon until they were like dusted. Pretty much any type of chocolate bar I've done this with. Smash it with the spoon until it becomes like dust, and then mixed it in the ice cream. And then I also put massive heaping spoons of peanut butter and Nutella on a plate, and then microwaved it till it got all hot and gooey, and then mixed it together, and then drizzled that on the ice cream like a true slob. Man, now you guys made me want ice cream. Jug handles for full service gas, pizza and bagels, the short points, and Devils hockey in person. I miss it all. Where do you live, Robbie's? Traveling said pistachio. My mother's a big pistachio person. I can't be. Pyro says, Quick Check sponsoring the wins and Marty's drink sponsoring the losses. David, 95 Devils, 16-5 in play. I think they were 16-4. 16-4 in the playoffs in 95. 2000 Devils, 16-7. 2003, 16-8. 95 team the best, and it is team play that puts them there. Masterful and true legendary champ team changed the way the game was played. Yeah, the 95 team was completely legit. John faces Quick Check sponsor. Amagi, vanilla is way different. Cookies and cream has that like defining flavor to it. Weird to describe. Just give me a regular vanilla and throw some cookies or brownie bits on top. Amazing stuff. Obviously, brownies, cookie dough. These are all things that just level up your Sunday immediately. Brennan says, if you guys are in North Jersey, check out Das Creamery. Where's that located? Yeah, 16-4. Devil Heaven says vanilla bean with peanut butter, Reese's Cups. What is rolled ice cream? Is that like Cold Stone where they smash it? Tasha, I can't stand all the super bright, weird color things in ice creams. I'm not a food coloring person. Might come from being an ex-Californian and all that healthiness and whatnot. I don't know what rolled ice cream is. Rolled ice cream is a big thing in Vancouver, so I really love it. What is this rolled ice cream? What's going on, Selected Boy? David, 100% rewatch the series on YouTube. Devils were hockey geniuses as a team. Lemaire is a god. Love Jacques Lemaire. It was awesome to see him last year when he came back for the Ring of Honor. I got to talk to him a little bit, and pretty cool. Jacques Lemaire, complete legend. Legend who kind of laid the foundation for what this franchise would become over the next, 15-ish years. Complete legend. Brendan says Das Creamery has one in Bud Lake and I think one in Morristown. Neither one of those is that close to me, but maybe if I'm in the area. Anson says vanilla ice cream with room temperature peanut butter, way underrated. I like it a little on the warmer side when it starts to like break down and like starts getting like kind of oily, and you mix that in there. Black Dr. Fruity with black cherry. Oh, black cherry ice cream, peanut butter, ripple, or peppermint stick. I could get into a seasonal peppermint stick. Amagi says, what's the scoop? Nearish me and Metuchen had a cinnamon sticky bun flavor that was absolutely the best ice cream I've ever had. Hope they keep it around since it seemed to be a flavor of the month thing. Interesting. Robbie, Fort Myers, Florida, Seamus Casey's hometown. I upgraded my username from Jeff, but I'm still the same. Okay. Yeah, how unfortunate. Seamus Casey could have been could have been in the opening day lineup with the injury to Pesci, but he's injured himself. It's terrible. Pyro says, Lemaire and Lamoriello, if there ever becomes an Ultimate Devils team, that's why Juan is the brains. Yeah, I think that would be pretty undisputed. And Lamoriello had the foresight to get Jacques Lemaire, and the rest is history. 3 Stanley Cups from that kind of beginning foundation after being a basement team for quite some time. Let me see. Is there any other news out here? But yeah, I don't know. Was there no one covering the practice? Because the guys who didn't play today stayed back and practiced, and Sheldon Keefe stayed in Newark to run the practice. Just trying to see. It doesn't seem like we're going to get any notes from practice today, so I'm curious to know where the thought process is for the Pesci spot. It's going to be an interesting one. SST's crying. Garrett says, overall great game today. Hey, I can't call it great if we lost, but there's some positive takeaways for sure. I can't call it great. Spirit in the Sky, what's your feelings on the upcoming season with the Devils? So I'm still kind of mulling it over. Overall, it's pretty positive. While I would have liked to see another kind of bigger move facilitated this summer, I wasn't expecting it because of our cap space and knowing, what we know. But I do think the team is improved. I think the bottom 6 is going to look much better than it did last season, obviously, because it almost can't. And I will be doing a season kind of preview prediction video sometime in the next few days. There's going to be a bunch of videos, probably at least one a day. Some days you guys might get 2. There might be an AM and a PM, or maybe I'll do one longer one. I'm curious. Let me know in the chat, first of all, would you guys rather multiple short videos or like one long one? I think people are all kind of, different on that. And I do put the stuff on Spotify as well, but I'm not really catering to that audience per se. I just kind of put it on there as another platform. But I'm curious if you guys would rather multiple shorter videos or like one long one. Devil Heaven, what's our status on injuries, LTIR, etc.? Nothing has come out as of yet. Nothing has come out as of yet. And so, we may be starting off the season without Casey and Pesci. It seems like Nason might not be on the opening. He might not be available for opening night. I think that one's kind of up in the air as well. He's been at practice, but I think it's very different. Practice versus a game, obviously. Collect, if you're ever down here by the beach, Sundays in Seagirt has a flavor called Robert Brownie Jr. Interesting. I think I walked past that very recently. Is that near Angelica's Collect Records? If that's right near Angelica's, I was just over there very recently. David says, hot take, other than 94-95, Lemaire, best coach, Devils team was 22-23 rough, weaponized speed game to get number 3 best record in regular season out of nowhere. Playoff loss was inexperience, not coaching. I never blamed Lindy per se for any of the team's shortcomings, but I just think, during that 23-24 season, it just went awry, and I feel like they needed a change. Robbie's bench boss, Kova to IR any day now, right? When are final cuts due tomorrow? I can't find the date. I've been looking for it. When you have to be cap compliant. So it's got to be, unless there's a trade, it's going to have to be Kovacevic to LTIR any day now. I mean, the latest it could be is when the season starts. I still can't find a date anywhere. I've looked multiple times. of the actual deadline. Dr. Fruity Boots had a couple different versions of stout ice cream before. Oh, I don't know. I don't like that. David says, Boozeface scapegoated Ruff over his own failings next season. I mean, he definitely played a massive part in not getting a goalie. Tasha, Z-Rolls is good too. Absolute Zero, Montclair, a bit expensive, but both good rolled ice cream places. I feel like every time I go get ice cream now, like it's like $10. Marco, what's going on? Bottom six will be ready. Greetings from Switzerland. Worldwide. Pyro says, personally, I love lots of shorter videos, but how short are you thinking? I mean, when I say short, I mean like, 15 to 20 minutes versus like something that could be an hour or an hour and a half. It's probably easier if I do the shorter ones for everybody. Tasha says, I'm kind of impartial to the video length. The video is a video, but maybe multiple short ones. Traveling says long. The four directions. Does Markey and Allen being older concern you in regards to our future goaltending? No. Because in the end, this group is built to win now. Markey and Allen are win now goalies. I'm almost to the point where winning now needs to be the primary driving motivation and factor for every decision that's made both on and off the ice. For personnel, contracts, like let's just call the window the next 5 years. That's the remaining term on Jack's contract. And it might be this Bratter and end of the 30-31. Yeah, call it the remaining 5 years on Jack's deal as the golden window. 5 more years. So, while the kind of transition to the next phase of goaltending is not really defined at the moment because Allen's obviously signed for 5 years. Obviously, he's not going to play all 5, but maybe he plays 3 or 4. And the rumors that Markey's going to be extended, I mean, in the end, they're win now goalies until they proven to be otherwise. So the age doesn't concern me as long as they're both staying healthy and playing at the level they played last season. I think they both give us a great chance to win on every night until the age becomes a problem. I'm not remotely worried about it. And as far as the future goes, to me, that's like, a problem down the line that you deal with at the time. I do think Malik and Yegorov will both be capable NHL goaltenders at some point. And so whether we see one of them at a time make it to the big club or we see them emerge as a new tandem one season, I'm not too concerned about it because the time to win is now and we have win now goalies. The future be damned. The time to win is now. Faye says it's up to you and feel like what you feel like doing. We'll enjoy long or short videos. We're all here for the ride known as the 25-26 season of your New Jersey Devils. Our beloved New Jersey Devils. People are getting upset about all the food talk. I mean, what do you want from me? It's what you guys are talking about. Brandon says, first game of the year is on ESPN Plus. I'm sick of the streaming BS. Yeah, it's painful. They do make it hard to watch games, and you have to have all these apps and all this stuff. I'm not a fan of it either, but this is the world we live in now with everything. You need 10 million apps, and passwords, and logins, and yada, yada. Selected boy, what's your criteria for pizza, Ace? What do you mean by criteria? I haven't met many pizzas that I did not like. Angelica's a C bright. Okay, I had a brain fart. Seagert down by Manasquan. Brownie batter ice cream with brownies and chocolate chips. Oof. Let's go. Brent says, you got to check out rolled ice cream because it's a life-changing experience. Whether you get it in New Jersey or get to Vancouver or Detroit, it's great. Also, Oh Wow Cow in Easton for great regular ice cream. Okay. Collect says, big fan of longer videos when I'm old. David, love Markey and Allen, but 2 35-year-olds this season and net is a risk. Is Dawes protected from waiver claims? No, he would have to clear waivers if he gets sent down. And at this point, I used to think it was an automatic that he'd get claimed. I don't necessarily think that's the case anymore, but we'll find out if he's in fact waived. I mean, to carry him for however long seems a little crazy. Amagi says, Devils verified ticket sellers group just made a Discord. Tasha says, imagine if Markey takes a deal similar to Allen's. That would be interesting. For whatever reason, I can't see him doing that because he has not won a cup, unlike Jake Allen. And I think Allen is okay with kind of being the 1B guy in a tandem, whereas I think Markey needs to be the guy and wants to win a cup desperately. And so I don't know that he would sign as team-friendly of a deal with the Devils as Allen did, because in the end, Markey's number one priority is winning, and I can't blame him at all at the very, very tail end of his career. And there may be other contending teams that would be interested in bidding for his services where he could potentially get more money and an equivalent or even slightly better chance of winning a cup. And I think those will be the deciding factors. But assuming the Devils give him a couple years and something decent, I think he would like to stay here and re-sign. We'll see how that all goes. Brendan says, for all the goalie people, check out what Bob is doing in Florida. And then Four Direction says, but Bob isn't doing it by himself. That Panthers team is beyond stacked. Yeah, but the reality is no goalie is going to do it alone. It's a team sport, a team effort. You need your defenders to play. You need your offense to perform. But you cannot, while the Panthers are a juggernaut, absolutely. But Bobrovsky has been pretty solid in those cup runs. Tasha said, love food talk. Jersey definitely has some of the best food in the country. You're going to start seeing some more food stuff soon. I have a lot of ideas, but I just got to put them in motion, trying to figure out the perfect balance mixture of Devils hockey and food simultaneously. What's Ace's stance on pineapple on pizza? Definitely not for me. Not for me at all. I like occasionally a small hint of vegetables, but I'm mostly a meat on pizza guy. The best toppings are meat, obviously. Meat on the pizza. You would like pineapple on pizza, Amagi. Anson says, who has better pizza, New Jersey, New York, or Connecticut? I mean, all three have great pizza places. I think it just depends where you go. The chat has been hijacked. I think all the food talk repelled the SST. LJ, if both of our goalies go down with the injuries 35 or not, we have powerful witchcraft against us. Yeah, I mean, listen. Every team gets injured. It just seems like we get injured more so than other teams. And it's super unfortunate and annoying. And it's going to be something they have to battle through. We do have some nice depth up front. And we have some nice depth on the blue line. And they're already coming into play now with all these injuries we've suffered thus far before we even get to the regular season. Robert Ace, did you get the picture of the gift in the meme? I'm super behind on emails. I'll check it out when I get off of here, Rob. Thank you for that. I'll have to check that out. Amagi, sucks to think of all the players that worked their ass off and didn't win a cup. I'd even wish Henrik got one for his incredible efforts if he wasn't a blue skirt. Yeah, there's a lot of great players in this league over the history of the league that had great careers but did not win a cup. It is unfortunate. It happens. Select the Boy says you need more than one goalie to complete a team. Montreal learned that lesson years ago. Michael, pizza. Give me a grandma pie all day. I love a good grandma pie. Magi, Ace almost shoved me in the locker room having broccoli at the Rock, so I'm not at all surprised he doesn't like pineapple. Oh, man. Four Directions. I have a strong feeling Nemitz will make some major strides this season. What do you think? Yeah, I think he's set to have a big year. Obviously, up and down year. Last year was in Utica for a lot of it. Came at some point in the season, he was scratched a lot. And then finally, I think he kind of got his confidence and his groove back in the playoffs, scored that monster goal in double overtime to win game 3. And I think we see a breakout year from him. He had a monster offseason. He's much bigger and stronger. Sheldon Keefe noticed it right away and commented on it early in training camp. Nemitz has said the same, and I think we're finally going to see him put it all together this year and have a great regular season. You guys went wild with the food talk. Buffalo chicken slice at Rosa's is the best pizza near in MSG. John Face says nothing will ever beat a good Italian-made pizza. Mary comes back to ice cream. Stewart's Upstate New York is the best ice cream of all time. Death by Chocolate is a personal favorite. Okay. Tasha, he's called King Henrik for a reason. It's interesting how he's really not all that hated by Devils fans. I mean, I hate all Rangers, but I'd have to say Hank is got to be like probably one of like the classiest, whatever you want to call it, Rangers of all time. It's hard to truly hate the guy. It also helps that he's a goaltender, which, makes it a little bit different than forwards or defensemen. But, if I had to pick, well, he would probably be my number 2. If I had to pick, it feels gross even saying it, but my number 1 most favorite Ranger, if I had to pick one of all time, would be Mike Richter. And that's because of his participating as a member of Team USA, most specifically in the 1996 World Cup. He was the goalie that got it done. And then, unfortunately, he lost to Marty in the gold medal game in the 2002 Olympics. And they're both goalies. Moggy says, I'm super excited for Nemitz and considering getting a jersey for him, maybe a Fanatics jersey since the last season of it, maybe a game worn. I don't know if you've seen the price of those yet, Amagi, but Nemitz is going to cost a small fortune, I believe. Definitely not on the cheaper end of the spectrum. Oof. Oh yeah, no. Even more expensive than I thought. Tasha said, if you don't eat vegetables, how are you going to live long enough to witness the Devils dynasty in the 2080s? I eat them. I eat vegetables, but I certainly do not waste any internal space on them when I'm at the Rock, if that makes sense. I eat them in my everyday life, but there's something about being in the suites in the arena with all this food everywhere that something happens to me. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I haven't been able to identify it specifically, but all logic and rationale just goes out the window, and it just becomes a complete free-for-all where bad choices are just layered one on top of the next. And it's pretty dangerous. Pretty dangerous. Robbie's bench boss says all about the za. Michael, I don't hate Hank. Highly respect him as a goalie. He carried that team on his back for years. Yeah, and he could never get it done. Devils, the two best chances they had, Devils ended them in Game 6 of the 2012 Eastern Conference Finals. And then was it the next year or 2014? It was either 13 or 14, I forget, when they made it to the finals and lost to the Kings. I think it was 13. It was the very next year, actually. Anson, did you try one of those spicy margaritas at the Rock? No. I most of the time I do not drink at the Rock. Sometimes, but sparingly. David, Alexander Holtz, the last unsigned RFA. Dude arrogantly thinks he's worth more than qualifying offer right now. Maybe the buzz about his arrogance here was a real thing. Maybe. But once we moved him, I kind of moved on and just, I hoping he could somehow string together an NHL career. But he seems like he may be one of the latest cases of kind of what could have been wasted talent kind of thing. And I'm happy Paulie Cotter is here as a result of that trade that sent him to Vegas. Tasha, I mean, he's a goaltender, but we really hate Shesterkin. True. Faye, what would a Hank-Marty tandem look like if they ended up on the same team now that I'm thinking about it? I mean, that's a lot of wins you got there for sure. LJ says, Hank is hard to hate. I remember him kind of siding with Marty during that infamous Avery situation. He did? That I don't remember. Michael, we got Cotter for him and a goalie that we're going to let walk. Schmid, solid deal that a lot of people hated at the time. Yeah, thankfully my broke self loves Kovacevic. Yeah, much more friendly guy to love in terms of that market, Amagi. Some of these things get wild. Dr. Fruity Boots, my fiance used to know Mike Richter. She met him in the hospital. He thought she was a friend of his, and she told him the Rangers sucked. That's pretty funny. Pyro, I think Schmid's now the backup to Hill. I hope he does well. Is he officially the backup now? You guys know how I feel about Akira Schmid. Always a legend on this channel. Brought us back from the grave. We were down 2-0 in that series going into the Garden. Rangers fans were all posting their little broom emojis and talking about how we were done. They were going to sweep us, and Akira Schmid goes in there and wins games 3 and 4 and brings it back to the Rock. David says, you never see Chico choosing a kale salad. Absolutely not. There's so many other better choices. Like, why even go down that road? There's just so many other delicious things. Tasha, I mean, that's fair. If I was in the club, I'd probably eat my weight in non-vegetable foods as well. It's so bad. It's so bad. The 4 directions. It was 2014. No one was beating the Kings that year. God invented professional sporting events for us to make bad choices at. It's like a universal truth. Yeah, it's pretty dangerous. Michael Schmidt is the second goalie in Vegas, but I think more out of cap necessity with them being $7 million over. LJ says, Akira gets a hero's welcome anytime I see or hear about him. Absolutely. Robbie's bench boss. Schmidt happens. Sasha, what do you think the defense will look like versus the Canes? I think, I don't know. I'm rooting for Edwards, but I think it could be Cholowski. But it's gonna be exactly what you think it's gonna be. I mean, it's let's see. Siegs, Dougie, Luke Hughes, and somebody. Or the pairings could potentially who they put in the pairings may be different too. But I think you're going to see those players. Nemitz, Dylan will probably stay a pair. And then Hughes, Siegenthaler, Dougie, and then as the last D, either Cholowski or possibly Ethan Edwards. But that is going to be your defense to start the season if Pesce is out. And Casey obviously not available because he's injured as well. Otherwise, I think he would have been the first man up as the 7th defenseman. The 4 directions, I'm so sick of hearing about the Canes gatekeeper team. Yeah, but they put together a winning program. You got to tip your cap. Rod Brindamore has that team competitive every single year. And last year, a lot of people were saying, oh, they're going to have a down year. You know, we took Pesce and Nason from them. They lost a couple other players, and people were like, oh, they're going to be finally slipping, and not too much slippage. I don't have anything else. Start winding it down, trying to figure out. Got to figure out my food situation. Got to figure out if I'm going to go try to see that Rock movie tonight. The Smashing Machine looks very good. I'm very interested as a huge MMA fan. I remember Mark Kerr. Everyone says it's a great movie and The Rock's going to win awards for it. I might have to go check that out tonight. Tasha says, is he really the second goalie for them? That's great. I really hope he has a great career. Kira Schmid, franchise legend. Tasha says, collect records like spending $6 on a water. I swear they make the air in the Rock dry so you get thirsty and are forced to buy a drink. David says, Pyro's right about Schmidt getting the backup role to start the season. Looked it up. If we lose Dawes to waivers, I'll be pissed. I think it's possible. It's certainly possible. Amagi, talked about group meetups at the Rock. Would you ever consider a watch party for an important away game like against the Canes or Rags at a restaurant or something? So I've been thinking about all the different things. Like just to quickly touch on this because some of you have asked about it. I feel like the 3 categories are essentially either some sort of watch party for an away game, obviously, is one. Some sort of pregame thing at the Rock. That would be like category 2, some sort of pregame thing. And then category 3 is like an actual outing to the game, whether that's like in a section, a suite, one of the lounges. That's kind of the 3 tiers of situations, I believe, for an in real life event. But a lot of these people, I think, are not in New Jersey as well. So I don't really know. I'll have to kind of gauge what the interest level is. And maybe it could be a smaller event. Ace, hit us with your UFC 320 picks. I forgot about that. Let's see. I've become a casual fan of UFC. I'm not going to lie because there's just so many fights and fighters. Yeah, for the main 3, I'm going to have to go. I could see Ankalaev beating Pereira too, but I'm going to have to go Pereira, Marab. I like Yuri, so Roundtree's dangerous too. I'm going to go Yuri, Marab, and Alex. Alex might get smashed, though, but... Hanson says UFC tonight. Yuri, let's go for that. Faye, I'd rather we trade Dawes for picks or something instead of having him go on waivers and he goes to another team for nothing. Yeah, but realistically, you probably get like a 5th or 6th round pick for him. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting, though, because we're going to find out soon. Michael says, I'm down for any of the in-person events. Amagi, smaller event will make the group ticket system easier. Anyway, if the roll call is on the lower end, running with the Devils pick on the ice would be absolutely legendary. All us rejects. Tasha says, I want pizza now. I always want pizza. Always. It's a constant thought on my mind. Pizza constantly on the brain. All right, folks. Lots of videos coming out this week. As we approach Thursday, where the Devils will be in Raleigh to take on the Canes at the scene of the crime. I still have a little PTSD. I hope the boys don't, because that was just, oh my God. The way that lead was blown was just absolutely tragic. Absolutely tragic. But hit the thumbs up for your boy if you have not already. A lot of you have not, so you could just take a half a second out of your busy day to do that. Back soon. Yeah, I forgot about UFC tonight. That kind of messed me up. Really into pepperoni and sausage right now. That's always been in style, pepperoni and sausage. Can't beat it. Anson, if you could, prime Solani or Bure on this roster. As talented as Pavel Bure was, I'm going to have to go with Teemu Solani. I mean, my God, what a threat that man was. I think he scored 76 goals. Was it 76 goals his rookie season? I think it was 76 goals. His rookie year as a member of the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, that's just completely filthy. The Finnish Flash. Yeah, 76 goals. Unbelievable. Three-time 50-goal scorer. So he had 76, 51, 52. And then he scored 40 or more 1, 2, 3 other times. What a beast. 684 goals, 773 assists for 1,457 points in 1,451 games played. The most minuscule of hairs over a point per game over the course of the career, which is even more impressive when you consider that he was 44. He was 44 years old his last season in the league. Obviously, his numbers dipped off towards the tail end of his career, but he still finished with over a point per game. It's crazy. Faye says, don't forget the season begins Thursday, where we hopefully beat the Canes and get over that hump. I can't count the opening game winning as getting over the hump. Getting over the hump is knocking him out of the playoffs, but I'll certainly take an opening night win. Tasha says, I definitely still have a little PTSD from that series. Garrett, Canes series was bad, but Markey held it down as best as he could. Yeah, the health gap. Bare knuckle fighting at the Rock today, too. I was going to go, but my man Frankie Edgar is off the card. So once Edgar was announced not fighting, that kind of zapped it for me. I was really looking forward to going to the fight. I had met Frankie. I met him a bunch of times before, but met him at the Devils game a couple weeks ago, and I was pumped up to see him fight in bare knuckle, but for whatever reason, he's off the card. All right, that's it, guys. That's it. Back soon. Lots of videos coming. The studio is going to be completed soon. Lots of stuff in the next, was that today's Saturday? 5 days? 5 days. That's it. I need some food. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.